So I was offering client a newly released 2016 Latour when they hit me with, wait, I already have this wine in my cellar. And I was like, nope you don't, because Latour doesn't do en primeur anymore. And that got me thinking, a lot of people might be confused about this. So today I'm breaking down why Château Latour stopped selling futures and only release their wines when they decide that they're ready to drink. Before we dive into Latour decision, let me quickly explain what en primeur actually is. So en primeur is for those future systems where the winery sells their wine when they're still aging in the barrel, often about 2 years before the actual release and bottle and ship date. Buyers, whether they're collectors, investors, or merchants, are essentially placing a bet. They're buying the wine early, hoping to get it at a lower price before the demand drives the price up. For top estate like Latour, this system had worked for centuries, so it generated quick cash flow for the winery, giving merchants the inventory to sell and allow the collector to lock down the wines at hopefully a better deal than how much the bottle will cost later. So when Château Latour, one of Bordeaux's elite first grows, announced in 2012 that they were done with en primeur, it shocked everybody. Now the big question is, why will Latour quit the en primeur system? Especially it has been working so well for centuries. Now this is Latour's official answer and explanation. They said that it is all about quality and timing. They fear that too many people are drinking their wine too young, way before the wine had the time to develop to its full complexity. So instead of letting the buyer take on the challenge of aging the wine properly, Latour decided they will do the aging themselves. So their new plan was to release the wine only when they're ready to drink. And this ensures that each bottle hits the market closer to its ideal drinking window. They also emphasizes on the importance of provenance, meaning every bottle will come straight from Latour's cellar, guaranteeing that it's been aged in the perfect condition. Now that is a big deal in the world of fine wine. Provenance issues like improper storage or even counterfeit bottle, which have been a growing concern, especially in markets like Asia. By controlling the timeline, Latour now is able to promise pristine bottle every single time. But there's always another side to the story. While Latour's official answer sounds noble, there's also a clear business advantage to make this move. By skipping the en primeur, Latour no longer sells their wine at the early en primeur future prices. Instead, they hold on to the wine for years, releasing them later at a higher market price. Essentially, instead of letting the merchant and the collector profit from the wine's rising value, Latour now capture much more of the profits themselves. It is a savvy move, but it is also a move that only a chateau with very deep pocket and a huge brand recognition can pull off. Now, how did the wine world react when this happened in 2012? The reaction was mixed. Collectors for the most part loved it. For those who prefer buying wine at their peak instead of having to cellar it themselves, Latour's new system just makes so much sense. Instead of guessing when they should open the bottle, they could just trust that Latour will handle the aging for them. The merchants, however, will not thrill. The en primeur system is built on a chain of negotiants and merchants who sell their wines years before they're released without Latour's participation. The merchants lost a major first growth in their lineup, and they also lost the hype of the Latour's vintage release every year. And to be honest, not all the collectors were happy. Some collectors are used to buying Latour as future at a much lower price, and now they have to wait years and pay a premium for the mature vintages. A lot of people saw it as a savvy move that caters strictly to the wealthiest of collectors. For a while, people speculated that other first growths like Lafite, Margaux, and Mouton is going to follow Lafite's lead, but now over a decade later, none of them have. Why? Because most winery depends on the en primeur sales to generate cash flow. Latour's owner, François Pinault, happened to be one of the richest person in France. Latour could afford to take the financial hit of holding back their wines for years. Other chateaux simply don't have the luxury. That being said, some estates did start experimenting with partial holdbacks, so where they keep 10 to 20% more of a vintage for later releases. It is a way of capturing some of the benefits without leaving the en primeur altogether. And here's some risks of Latour's strategy. While Latour's move has clear advantages, it is not without risk. By skipping en primeur, Latour missed out on the annual buzzes that surrounds the future campaign. For those en primeur, it's like an event of the year. Critics, collector, and merchant all get together to taste and talk about the latest vintage. Without Latour being in the mix, some worry that it will be less top of mind for new collectors. There is also the risk that a delayed release might hit the market at a bad time, like during a financial downturn where the buyers are less willing to buy. And then there's a simple fact that some collectors feel priced out. Now that the Latour wines are being sold later, often at a higher price than they would have been during the en primeur. So was it a good move? Love it or hate it, Château Latour's decision to break away from tradition has certainly changed the game. While they have taken a gamble by rejecting the early cash flow en primeur offer, they have also positioned themselves as a wine for collectors who value perfect provenance and are willing to pay for wines that is closer to the peak condition. It is a bold move that reinforces Latour's status as a powerhouse in Bordeaux, and honestly, they're one of the few estates that could pull this off. If you find this helpful, don't forget to like and follow for more wine insights, and if you're looking to add some incredible bottles to your cellar, check out my website at angiesum.com. Thank you for watching, and cheers to drinking wine that is ready!